Yo guys, what's poppin'? So we have the Datamines, and we actually have quite a lot of stuff to talk about here. This was a pretty substantial data mine because not only did we get the version update and the maintenance and the refines and all of that stuff, but they also dropped a couple of very interesting bombshells here. Now, these are actually going to be spoilers, like legitimate spoilers, so I will warn you guys when we get to that point, but for now, let's just start things off with the refines like normal. And we have today Till9 to thank for the refines this time around. So shout outs to Till9 for these refines. All right, let's go ahead and make this a little bigger so you guys can read along with me. All right, we're going to start things off with Soleil's Shine. So a lot of people were waiting on Soleil to get her refine, of course, because she's a very easy merge project to go for. So let's see if she can hold up. So she's got 16 might, 1 range, and HP up 3. Unit and foe cannot counterattack. So basically, it's a fire sweep weapon. If unit initiates combat, grants attack and speed up 5, and special cooldown charge +1 per unit's attack during combat. Alright, so she gets fire sweep, attack and speed up 5, and special ramping. It's not bad. I mean, I would have liked it a little bit more if she had -1 special trigger as well. Because if she had that, you'd be able to run Gale Force and then just run up and attack the foes twice with the Fire Sweep effect. And then build up to Gale Force and then either go for a hit and run strat or go in and attack another unit. So just one downside I would say to this weapon, it doesn't have -1 special trigger. Yeah, man, it's unfortunate because I know a lot of people were real excited for her, but I guess that's just how it is. Alright, next up we have the Bride Tharja. So, Muspel Fire Posey, 14 might and 2 range, grants speed up 3. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants attack up X and speed up 5 during combat, where X is equal to 5 plus the number of allies within 3 spaces times 2. With a maximum bonus of +9 to attack. Okay, let's see here. So, supposing you had no units within 2 spaces, that would be 3 times 0, which is 0. And then 0 plus 5 is 5. So, at very worst case scenario, it's just attack and speed up 5. But the more units you have in 2 spaces, the better it's going to be. Up to a possible attack up 9, which isn't too bad. Also, inflicts speed and res -X on foes within 3 spaces of unit during combat, where calculates X based on the number of allies within 3 spaces of unit. So, no allies inflicts -0 to stats, 1 ally does -2, 2 allies does -4, and then 3 or more allies inflicts -6. It seems more likely that you're going to have maybe 1 or 2 allies within 3, or actually 3 spaces is a pretty big area of effect. If it was 2 spaces, I would have said like maybe 1 or 2 units, but being 3 spaces away is not all that difficult. So I think it is pretty likely you may see the -6 come into play a lot more often than not. So -6 to speed and res on foes within 3 spaces of unit during combat. Is that only for her, or is that for all your other allies to take advantage of as well? I feel like this is worded similar to rain skills, but man, I would have to double check the rain skills to really make sure. I'm just going to say for now that this is only going to apply to her while she's fighting, but it could easily just debuff enemies within 3 spaces of her by 6 speed and res, which is pretty wild. So I do think this is a solid refine for her. Alright, next up we have Julius over here. So we have Loptis. 14 might and 2 range, grants res up 3. Skills with effective against dragons are effective against this unit. If foe has no skills with effective against dragons, inflicts attack and res -6 on the foe during combat. And also, if the unit's res is better than the foe's res, reduces damage from attacks during combat and from AoE specials by a percentage of the difference between stats times 4, for a maximum of 40%. So in other words, he just needs 10 more res than the enemy to get 40% damage reduction, while also inflicting attack and res -6 if they don't have effective against dragons. So a pretty solid weapon right there. Also, at the start of the turn, if any foe's res is less than unit's res, and that foe is adjacent to another foe, inflicts attack and res -5 on that foe through its next action. Okay, that's a really good start of turn debuff. And also, at the start of combat, if unit's HP is above or equal to 25%, inflicts another attack and res -5 on the foe during combat. What? Yo, they gave this guy like 10 attack and res -5 drops here. So he's getting attack and res -6 if they don't have dragon type effectiveness. He does attack and res -5. This one is going to count as a red debuff at the start of the turn. And then this one here, attack and res -5 that he gets on the final effect, that's going to be an in-combat drive type of buff. So he's doing a lot here. I actually like this sabotage debuff effect a lot, because he's just going to debuff enemies by attack and res -5 if they happen to be adjacent to each other. So that's going to be pretty common. I don't remember how good his res is, but it really shouldn't be that difficult to just stack this guy's res through the roof. So, wow, so far I think this is probably the best refine we looked at. Alright, next up we have Owain. So, Laevatein, 16 might, 1 range, and HP up 3. Accelerates special trigger. Grants special cooldown charge +1 per foe's attack during combat. Interesting. So it's like a breath effect, except you only get it when they hit you. So I guess it's more similar to Huge Fan than it would be to a breath skill. At the start of combat, if foe's HP is above or equal to half, grants attack and speed up 5 to unit during combat. And also, if unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants attack and speed up 5 to unit during combat. And when special triggers, deals damage equal to damage dealt to unit, with a max of 30. Oh, man, that's not too bad either. So he has like a built-in Vengeance effect. Except it's better than Vengeance because it's not 50% of damage taken. It's just legit whatever damage you took, you just deal back to them as true damage there. And that's going to stack on top of whatever special damage he's doing. Yeah, man, he's going to hit really hard like that. That's pretty solid. Okay, they tried to set him up like a bait unit here, so you want him to take a hit. He's going to take a lot of damage from whatever they hit him with, and then he's going to get this Huge Fan type of ramp skill to get into a 2-hit special, or a 3-hit because he has -1 special trigger. So Blue Flame, which he comes with, would be applicable, or Bonfire, or Iceberg, or whatever 3-hit special is your favorite. Then he's getting attack and speed up 10, and then a whole bunch of true damage from this. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Interesting. Okay, let's move on to Laevatein up next. I think this is probably the one that I was the most excited for, because I've gotten so many pity break copies of Laevatein that I think I have her at like +6 by now. So let's see what she got. Alright, 16 might, 1 range, HP up 3. Grants attack up 3. Grants bonus to unit's attack, equal to total bonuses on unit during combat. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is above or equal to half, or a bonus is active on unit, grants attack and defense up 5 to unit during combat. Alright, more or less it's basically the same thing. She just gets attack and defense up 5 now. Okay, at the start of the turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack and defense up 6 to unit for 1 turn. And at the start of the turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of unit's support partner, grants attack and defense up 6 to unit's support partner for 1 turn. And at the start of combat, if foe's HP is above or equal to 75%, grants another attack and defense up 5 to unit during combat. Okay, so yeah, now we're talking. So she gets 2 of these attack and defense up 5 bonuses. That's attack and defense up 10. And then she self-buffs herself and a potential support partner by attack and defense up 6. That's going to be a blue skill type of buff. So similar to your Fortifies and your Wave skills and such. That's also going to help her Blade Tome effect. So not too bad there. I would have liked it a little more. Instead of giving the support partner stat bonuses, I think it would have been more fun if she was within 2 spaces of the support partner, she also gained speed and res up 6. So she could just instantly get maximum damage for her Blade Tome effect by herself. But I guess it is what it is. Still, can't really complain with just getting some free stat bonuses there. Yeah, so a pretty solid batch of refines here. I think Soleil probably was the biggest disappointment because a lot of people wanted to use her as an easy merge project, but I'm not really getting the vibes that her weapon is all that great. Tharja's was pretty good, especially if the speed and res minus X is actually a rain skill type of debuff. That's a pretty nutty debuff right there. Laevatein is a really sick weapon to use by himself. Not really, well, it is offering the sabotage skill as support with the attack and res minus 5, but like, man, he is going to be pretty nuts. If you give him close foil or something like that, he's going to be really interesting and really tanky. And then this guy here with his free vengeance or better than vengeance effect, I think is also pretty interesting. I would say, though, overall, Laevatein probably got the best refine here. Let me know in the comments section down below, which one of these units do you think got the better end of the stick? I think outside of Soleil, really, all of them seem pretty good. I don't really think any of these are bad per se, but I would say Julius probably won the lottery there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move on to the stats for the new heroes. And we can go ahead and lower the size of that a little bit. Let me just double check one thing because I am waiting on the Boons and Banes here. I wasn't able to get that before I started recording. So let's see if somebody has posted up the Boons and Banes before we get into it. Alright, no, those aren't Boons and Banes. Alright, doesn't look like we have the Boons and Banes, unfortunately, but I mean, that's what happens when Bonpei-kun is not around. R.I.P. Bonpei-kun, but the show must go on. So we have the duo Sothis and male Byleth here, and they have 40 HP, 36 attack, 42 speed, 31 defense, and 34 res for a grand total BST of 183. Now, I believe 183 is the highest for any flying type unit in the game. And having 183 means they do not need a super boon at all to jump into the next scoring bin, which would be 185. So, a pretty solid stat line there if you're going for scoring. Although, it's irrelevant anyway because they probably have a 190 BST raise on their duo skill. So, it doesn't really matter. As far as their stat line goes, I would predict maybe a super boon in speed, because Sothis units tend to be really quick, and 42 speed, they just like giving that +4 to round it off at 46. Otherwise, I think she's trying to be like a bait unit. She has built-in distant counter, and she nullifies effective against dragons and all of that, but I'm not really feeling her as a bait unit too much. I think they probably could have gotten away with using her as a player phaser instead. But regardless, her stat line is, I guess it's decent for player phasing, but then not so great for defending. And especially when she's going to be weak against bows, so just be aware of that. She does have that brand new B skill though, Dragon's Wrath, I think it was called, where you get the Moose spell effect of your attack being higher than the foe's res gives you a bonus to your damage. So that could be a pretty interesting skill. Could be enough to push some units over the top and get a one-hit KO when they normally wouldn't. So you may want to be on the watch for that skill. But this unit as just a unit in terms of stats and all of that, I don't really think they're too spectacular. Alright, next up we have the male Grima here. And he's got 46 HP, 43 attack, that is a lot. 21 speed, 43 defense, and 37 res. For a grand whopping BST of 190. What the hell, man? Oh my god, he is so powerful. Was that really necessary? He's already an armored unit and he's colorless. So he's going to be a prime candidate to give save skills to. Doesn't matter if it's far save or near save. I think probably near save would be a little better. But dude, this guy is something else with that 190 BST. Yeah, he basically scores as high as Sothis is with her duo skills. So that's pretty unfair. Man, and then, you know what I would think? I would say instead of running whatever his B skill was, I already forgot what B skill they gave him. Why not just give him Dragon's Wrath from this Sothis here? And then have him just clap really hard on the counter hit. So he can come in and save one of your allies from getting hit by probably a near attack. I would give him near save and then just bop them with this crazy attack stat and having Dragon's Wrath to get the Muspel effect. I think that could be a pretty viable tactic. You could also go for Dragon's Wall because he's got a lot of res. But I don't know, man. This guy seems pretty nuts. All right, next up we have the Witchy Rhea. So 40 HP, 43 attack, 18 speed, 39 defense, and 42 res for a BST of 182. Pretty solid for infantry. I believe that ties with Legendary Corrin. So not too bad there. Pretty min-maxed as well. We got tons of attack, defense, and res, and then absolutely no speed whatsoever, which is perfectly fine because her weapon denies the foes from making follow-ups while also giving her a guaranteed follow-up. And the only way you're going to miss out on that is if they have null follow-up. So, yeah, man, she's pretty good as well. All right, let's move on to Kurth Naga. This is going to be our demote unit on the banner, and I'm actually considering going for the +10 on him because he is one of my favorite characters in Radiant Dawn, and of course, Radiant Dawn being my favorite game out of all the Fire Emblems. That already says a lot to how much I like this guy. So, 45 HP, 39 attack, 27 speed, 36 defense, and 35 res for a similar BST of 182 to Rhea. Yeah, he doesn't need to have a Super Boon to jump into the 185 bin, which is really good. If you get him up to +10, he's going to score really nicely, and then he's infantry type as well. So I have no complaints with Kurth Naga. He seems like a pretty strong unit. The only thing I guess I would say is that I wish he was blue instead of red, because blue bait units are honestly where it's at right now. Seems to be the best color because we have all these crazy offensive threats as red, and having color advantage on them is really nice. But otherwise, I don't think this guy is a bad option to go for the +10 on if you want to. Once again, you could just hand him Dragon's Wrath from this Rhea, and he's going to be able to do a lot of damage. His weapon is really good. I would say it's probably the best inheritable breath in the game right now. And then his attack stat being 39 is also quite good. It would be really nice if he has a Super Boon in attack, but I'm not sure. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to over here where we can take a look at his skill level inheritances. So, Kurth Naga is going to have Even Pulse Tie 3 at 5-star. Very unfortunate. I was really hoping this would be the 4-star skill. Because if we go down here, we have this big steaming Dookie at 4-star. Dragon XP 3. Completely useless. These XP skills are really just going to hurt you more than help you. Especially if you're trying to grind SP. Because all it does is just level you up faster. That's not really important at all. Would have been nice if they gave him Dragon Valor, but whatever. Okay, we also have the skill level inheritances for Sophia, but we're going to come back to her in just a sec. Let's go ahead and take a look at her stat line first. Okay, so we have Sophia here. Not a unit that I was expecting, but I don't think anyone really was. She has nothing to do with 3 houses or Radiant Dawn or anything like that. I was really hoping for Nazir personally. Nazir is one of my other favorite dragon units from Radiant Dawn, but I guess we ended up getting this Sophia. So she's a flying blue tome unit, and those are incredibly rare, especially free-to-play ones. I think she might be the only free-to-play blue tome flyer that we've gotten. So already she's in a good spot. So her stats are 37 HP, 38 attack, 23 speed, 27 defense, and 42 res. So sky-high res, really solid attack. Speed is not really there, but then defense is okay. HP is also quite bad, to be honest. And she's got a BST of 167. Huh. Is she good? Like, her res is really good. But to be honest, I only like these flying tome units when they're really fast, because then you're free to do a whole bunch of shenanigans with them. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, she's not really going to be that great of a bait unit either with 27 defense. And then she's also going to be weak to bows as well, so you either run Iote's Shield or you miss out on a whole ton of stats. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think she could be good. She definitely has potential, but off the top of my head, I'm not really seeing any standout uses for her. She just seems like she's going to be a really good res tank with some pretty strong attack. Alright, so let's go back to Sophia over here, and let's take a look at her skill inheritances. So we have Attack and Res Form 3 at 4-star, which is fine. We got Sabotage Res at 5-star. And looks like that's pretty much it for her skills. I'll definitely take Attack and Res Form 3 over Sabotage Res as the 4-star skill. So that's pretty good. And also we have her artwork here, which is really flippin' adorable. I mean, look how cute she is holding that teddy bear spider right there. Really cute artwork. I like her outfit too with the cobweb motif. I think they did a really good job here. And that freaking spider is so cute, man. Oh, man. And then her smiley face too, and then the ghost cookie. Yeah, this is a really cute artwork. Let me know in the comments section. Oh my god, dude. Come on, don't make him cry. Come on. And then his stuffing is coming out. Don't do that to the spider. He's a good little spider. Don't do that. Alright, as I was saying, let me know in the comments section what you guys think of Sophia's artwork there. I think it's the cutest thing in the world. Okay, so her weapon, Spider Plush Plus, a very good weapon. It's going to be 12 might and 2 range, and it's literally the exact same as Kurtnaga's Breath. So you get attack up 5, you inflict attack -5 on the foe, and you also inflict guard. So it's basically Spendthrift Tome with guard. Really good inheritable weapon. Very nice for all the blue tome units, and actually going to be pretty solid on the Halloween Ilyana if you wanted to run her as a safe skill armored unit. So definitely keep that in mind. Okay, and we also have the Tempest Trial rewards here. So these are going to be our Sacred Seals for this round. We have Odd Defense Wave 1, and then we have Shield Session, which is pretty interesting. Obviously, Blade Session was one of the craziest Sacred Seals they ever gave out. It's not really ideal as an ace skill because it's a little situational, but as a Sacred Seal, it's really nuts. It's one of those skills that just get way better as a seal than as an actual passive, because the passives are just way too competitive, whereas you're not really getting anything on par with Shield Session as an actual Sacred Seal. So really good stuff to get Shield Session there, but the wave skills suck, and I don't think anyone really runs them. So not really too interested in that one. Okay, now we have some spoiler territory here, guys. So if you do not want to be spoiled, then please click off the video right now, because this is actually, like, legitimately not something I expected to see whatsoever. But we have the new Bloom Fiorm here. So this is her artwork. We have Bloom Fiorm. I guess this is her regular attire here. I'm not really digging the armor. I think the armor looks a little bit too overdone. But I do like the axe that she's got there. A pretty big weapon for a little girl. And then I like her long hair as well. Not to say short hair Fiorm didn't look too good or anything like that, but I do have a preference for long hair on girls. Okay, so here is her attacking artwork. And then we have also her special attack artwork. And then finally, the injured artwork. So, pretty interesting. I guess this is supposed to be Fiorm getting blessed by Niffle or something of that nature. So we'll probably get more info on this during this round of Tempest Trials. I'm interested to see what's going to happen to Laevatein. Or, I guess not Laevatein, but Lake Jarn, because she's going to be the one that's going to represent Muspel in this battle here between fire and ice. So if we get a Bloom Lake Jarn, that's going to be pretty nuts. Lake Jarn is one of the best looking waifus in the game, in my opinion. So definitely can't wait to see what they do to her. But anyways, that's going to wrap us up for the data mines this time around, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below what you all think of all this stuff. And just real quick, one more time, I'm going to refresh it to see if we have the Boons and Banes. Alright, so we do in fact have the Boons and Banes. I am glad that I checked this. So Sothis has one in attack, Super Boon in attack and res. Grima has a Super Boon in defense. Rhea's got Super Boons in both defense and res. Kurtnaga has none at all, but like I said, it's not really a big deal because he's already going to make the jump into the 185 bin. And then Sophia has a Super Boon in HP. Alright, so there you go, guys. There are the Boons and Banes, or I guess just the Boons because the Banes don't really matter as much. So there you have it. Let me know in the comment section down below. I've said that like a million times already, but I'm interested to see what you guys think of these data mines, especially what you guys think of this Fiorm here. Gonna be interesting to see what happens to Lake Jarn, but that's all for tonight. So this is your boy Tharja signing out. I'll let you guys know very soon if I am actually going to go for the +10 on Kurtnaga, but right now I would say it is pretty likely that I will. I just like him too much. So definitely be on the lookout for a summoning live stream when the banner drops. And that's all for tonight, so I will see you guys again later. Thanks so much for watching the video, and have a good one.